Ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
It's Rangaroo, hello.
And folks, you can see already we have forces smashing into each other on Slutsk. Who do we have, sir?
Left-hand side in the blue, we have Farid Rommel playing Harteneck once again with Maverick income. Right-hand side in red, we have Ghost Dragon playing 8th Cav, Romanian, also with a Maverick income.
Now, there are those of you out there that might think, wait a second, there are no Germans here today, but they'd be wrong. There is actually, in fact, an entire division of them over here in Group of Harteneck. Now, I will say, what we are going to see, though, is a lot of Boita equipment. So maybe that's where you can probably get a little bit confused, that we are seeing 76-2s down south plying their deadly trade against Pack 38s by the Romanians. So things are all kind of screwed up here.
Yeah, it's just the confusing part of the war where no one really has standardized equipment and everyone's switching sides for some reason. I think it might be because the Germans are actually losing.
Well, we are just seeing a Ju-88 kind of dropping bombs, and there we go. I was wondering where the heck I was like, They dropped about 10 seconds ago. I don't know where they are.
But no, a pretty hectic opener. We're seeing, battle all over the place. I mean, northern side's actually a bit more quiet, especially compared to our Tuesday game. Just seen some right Jaegers being thrown into the forest, but the Romanians will be able to hold.
Yes, they will certainly ruminate by themselves up here, though there is already assaults. Going to continue to move on forwards, maybe against their better judgment, because these guys are made to be close up and personal. But the carbines, I mean, I guess they can stand sort of ish.
Yes. We're seeing a lot of these, pretty much Panzer IIs, Lukes being brought in for cheap fire support. Definitely a good idea as the Romanians, where they have some tanks, but not a whole lot. So just, autocannons, close range, never a bad idea.
No, not that bad at all. I will say, the anti-tank tab for the Romanians is rather filled out, though.
Yeah, it's deep. It's ready to deal with that Tiger spam, which will be coming their way. There, we got just a pretty standard 13-11. I think Rommel's main goal is to just try to take the southern forest, which is definitely a good call. Once again, you cap the forest, you zone it out, you're in a pretty good position.
And using all of those P2 analogs, probably the best way to go about this. Unfortunately, there's going to be a 45 mil, which is going to be more than enough to kind of aggress and push him back out of that region.
Oh, yeah. Oh, ooh. Unless that Panzer III can shoot from downtown.
Yeah, but now with so the 45 mil is going to engage. If he's engaging to the south, he's in trouble. If he's engaging to the west, he actually has a chance. Because,
if he can hit.
Well, gun jam. That was very, very lucky, and now he's pretty much going to pay for that temerity. He's going to kill one, but he's going to die for it. That's a problem.
Yeah, and we should see some more infantry being brought on in to try to clear out our forests, and really not a whole lot to clear out, just a few more Romanian recon guys, and we're actually seeing an investment in tanks more than anything. I understand he's kind of losing this, this main defensive position along the road. So I think he, thinks he has to, engage long range. And right now, there's still a possibility for him to rush infantry in the air and not to lose that spot.
But the thing is that if he's rushing tanks in there, I'm not sure if he just got knocked in the head a couple of times by the bombs, but there still are captured Zisses.
They are.
And the Terrans, they're going to come in, they're going to be effective enough, but they're also going to die very, very badly before too much longer.
I guess the one benefit is not a whole lot of infantry anti-tank in that forest, at least, but we're seeing the Panzer Grenadiers and Pioneers get set up also far down south. Yeah, Farid also pushing here as well, using those Pioneers effectively. And that's because infantry are forced to hold fire. Yeah, he's going to be able to just get right in close and throw those grenades.
Yes, he will. And actually, these Stokes in the meantime are also going to go and be really, really effective. Stoke 3s kind of sometimes get a bit of a bad rap because they're fighting, they have to basically fight up an awful lot. But in this situation, man, they are the big men on campus.
Honestly, real talk, the Stoke 3 was probably the Germans' best tank. Even though you could call it shotgun tank, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's probably it's probably the best tank they made in the war.
Well, it's dirt cheap, really solid armor. Depending on the model, the Stoke G, of course, had that pintle-mounted kind of MG34 up top. But depending, some of the earlier ones, I don't think actually had that. Which probably definitely.
Yeah, it was a later thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So the G's and H's, but yeah, I have to agree with you. They could build 4 Stokes for every single P4.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't have to worry about the actual gun issues. You just stuck a heavier and heavier gun every single time.
Yeah, really, turrets are overrated. You just stick gun forward. I mean, you're shooting forward most of the time. Just be looking in the right direction. The enemy's going to be coming from one cardinal direction, I hope. Unless you're in Stalingrad. And they're coming from all directions.
Or Bastogne, yeah, but they didn't have tanks, did they? But 12-12 in the meantime, and speaking of people who had to fight in every direction, there's a right to Jaeger all the way up to the north who's been pinned down. He's going to get forced to surrender here by the Katarasi Moto. So all those guys are going to be saying is, hello, Moto. And with white flag? Come on, pull a Frenchman. No.
No, he's going to be running... Never mind, he is going to be a dead man instead.
Yes, he's apparently saying better dead than red, and of course the Romanians all too happy to oblige in this case.
Yeah.
But down south, what had been not an insignificant push, though I do have to laugh right now, we actually have the Venatori Chare and the Lumitest over here, both guys that hold fire, so they're waiting for a crazy, crazy tank to get on through there before they sell their lives. I actually don't know what the heck is going on here, because we have Harteneck, which is, I would argue, owning the bottom third of the map. We have the Romanians who are owning the top third of the map. And the middle third is kind of dithering back and forth. No one really knows what the heck they really want to be doing here.
Yeah, no one ever wants to push the middle on most maps because it's just scary. You can get flanked from both sides. It's just like in the Royal War, you just want to hug the map borders because you never know. You're not going to get flanked from that point.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like how the Macedonian army won all those wars, is that they just set up at the corner of the map with their pikeman phalanxes, and the Persians couldn't flank them. They just sit in the corner, you're good.
God damn it. Like, the second you did that, I was like, here comes a Rome reference. Here we go.
We've all done the hot plate corner flank, and no one in the comment section can deny it.
Oh, dude, totally. While listening to Mars, like, you could not get any more, like, on par than that. Yes, I know Mars is a Roman god. Don't at me. Now, one thing that we were talking about before is the anti-tank tab being very, very deep, and we're actually seeing a lot of opportunity for that happening here. So it's Pack 38 ACs. The 50 mils, technically the Pack 38, not the most up-to-date weapon here, and yet, except for that bombing going on through with the HE-111, they are proving themselves rather effective weapons platforms. I'm actually really, really quite impressed by this.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot of heavy tanks right now. The Tigers have not come out to play yet, so they can be set up quite good in the northern side. But I do like the comment made earlier where it's like, the southern side is pretty much gone for Harteneck, up north here for the Romanians. Kind of a classic trade scenario. Ghost Dragon definitely, felt like, hey, if Farid is pushing heavy down south, I may as well just push heavy up north. And it is working. I think the question is, which flank is going to falter first? Because we are seeing a decent amount of heavy firepower being brought in from Farid to try to get a foothold back into that town.
And that's exactly what I was going to say here, is that the northern one, I think, is my mind where it's going to start to kind of fall apart first. Not for nothing, if you stick some heavy tanks down south, see things with even a modicum of engagement potential, like the 76-2 that's kind of slowly schlepping it forwards, I would opine that it's easier for me to just reduce the entire town by HE than to kind of sit there and deal with open ground the entire time. Like,
dude,
please come forward. Yes,
far down south. It's still Romanians in that town.
Oh yeah, exactly.
What the?
Exactly. There's a setup team in the absolute last building. Check out the line of sight though.
Oh yeah.
That's why. Because the Airsats MG, if the Airsats MG actually moves into the building, he would see them.
God, that's just. I'm just imagining those Romanians like playing hide and seek, like stuck in the closet, one's underneath the chair, They're like, don't say anything, the Germans are outside.
Exactly. Exactly. I was listening on the whole Twitter sphere, and I saw stuff, of course, about Ukraine and this and that, and I learned today about the Witch of Ukraine, talking about how she would send her troops to go kill the orcs that were out on the other side of the fence. I kept thinking to myself, like, that's what's going on here. That's what's going on here. We're seeing the Romanians huddle in these houses, and like you said, just like, oh my gosh, they're everywhere. The forces of Mordor.
Yeah. Just. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, here's the problem. We're seeing a couple of scout teams being moved on forward. So we're seeing the Zrinis and the captured Hetzers over here, the Outpanzers, engaging some of the setup teams that are arrayed against them. But at the cost of a scout every single time, you're going to run out of scouts before you run out of enemy infantry.
Yeah. He's definitely going to be able to scout out, get his machine gun fire coming his way. But the problem is, like, he does have, all the anti-tank, he does have some stuff, well, not Slutsks, it's Zerinis, but you don't really have much else in regard to armor to, like, try to push up here. And also you really have to, get a lot of infantry down that road, which is difficult. Ideally, probably be the best thing is a crap ton of artillery, some smoke artillery as well, but that's going to be a lot of heavy investment.
Will it though? I mean, 90 points, you have 105.
You're gonna need. I think I need a few 105s to really clear up down south.
No, you misunderstand me. There's an off-map 105 for 90 points. In fact, you can get 2 of
Yeah,
them.
but it's getting that closer in the open field.
Okay, yeah, that I would agree with. I'm not sure we're seeing the Harteneck over here in the meantime. We are going to see him. He's pinched in the center. Yep, this is the right call. Contain the north. Yes, he's got Husaroks that are still getting churned to meet Bolya base over here, but he's going to start to bring in infantry, consolidate the center, push, pick up 2 easy flags, and what do you do if you're the Romanians? Congratulations, you now have to fight another freaking grindy match, which is just not going to be fun.
Yeah, and that center point, it's always like as we see here. There's not a whole lot of stuff here from the Romanians. If you can cap it. You just set along the hilltop, you keep some infantry down below, and you can very easily zone it out.
Well, right now we're seeing a ZB-53 trying to get thrust onto the hilltop, and a 45 mil being deployed just to the east in the town, which I'm not sure I agree with that placement per se, but hey, it's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how this plays out.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird spot actually.
HE-111, I'm sorry, HS-129 coming in, going after this Tiger. Cluster bombs. I think we're going to see a dead Tiger.
It's really in the 129 without the gun. It's probably more effective having clusters.
Or not.
What? Wow. That's kind of pathetic, 129. I really expected more from you.
Exactly. I mean, even 6-pound bombs, you would think that you'd hit with a couple of them.
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
Flak Vierling doing its thing. And there's going to be an attempt by the Romanians to take back this north-central hilltop. But the Missouri, in the meantime, are going to get kind of killed. And you know what? It's still 12-12, so I'm at war with myself. The same way these guys are at war with each other. I don't know which side's going to be pulling this out, because neither side, I think both sides are just very content. Just to bide their time, assemble more equipment, really do their thing.
No, 100%. We're really at the point where up north and down south, they're just so heavily defended that you can't reasonably do anything. It'll just cost too many resources. I think with Farid's central push, this will probably tip the scales over into his favor, as he can get at least one of those Gucci flags in the central point and then just lock it down.
Yep, and he does get forced to pin, so that's all set there. So that's at least one flag. We're not going to see 2 until that, let's say, intersection is reduced to the northeast of those 2 hussars. But the Pak-40, I like the Pak-40 being brought on in here too. Unfortunately, yes. P3N very much out of position, but the T-34 might be able to get there in time to cause some nice support fire. We're going to eventually see how this plays out. 13-11 in the meantime. So we're really seeing a necessity for being more aggressive.
Yeah, and really just seeing also just on the far flanks from both angles, either of the attacking sides, they just kind of have like this blob of long-range fire support, and they're trading a little bit, but it's not exactly beneficial trades. It's not enough for him to actually, get a decent force and rush him up to take out territory. It's buying time for the defender.
Exactly. Now, interesting. Yeah, get MG42s to the north. The second Tiger's been brought to the northern side. Other Tiger down south, he's getting engaged. No, he's engaging. Who's he engaging? The scouts? That is a very, very... Okay. I mean, okay. So the scouts might be the most unique approach to trying to reduce this a bit, because you have, you have a nice bit. Your 129 comes back in, 129 gets kind of shunted away. This is what should have happened, but the SDKF wasn't in position. So, like I was saying, scouts over here in the meantime, interesting way to kind of reduce a little bit of the forest, because the biggest issue about actually aggressing on a forest is that you don't see anything until you get too close and you get churned up.
Yeah, and they are a bit beefier as well, so they can survive a bit of enemy contact, but once again, just multiple angles of fire, only one Jagd Panther, not getting ready to deal with the Tiger, and these scouts are going to be, scouting a position for the afterlife sometime soon.
Yeah, but you know what? It's a lively crowd. It's the whole thing. Like, the Great Hereafter is a very welcoming opportunity, or so I've heard.
It's to die for.
Absolutely. You make no bones about it. But this game, the sniper rifle's solid. In the meantime, so P3N to the north of this, he's finally been more engaging. He's actually going after that horse. It does kill him. So that 221 and 222 does go down. And there's not a lot of equipment here. Terran being brought on in, speculative TACAM, and the other Terran being brought on in. So, seeing 3 armored vehicles being pushed along all to the same spot. Basically, to that intersection.
We've seen also just a lot of stews being brought in from Farid up north, as well as the Tiger. Seems like he's just trying to amass a massive death ball so he can just blow up any Romanians who do dare stay in his raid. Run. Well, did he drop the bombs?
Yes, he did. He put it in the moto behind the lines, which actually I very much agree with.
Yeah. He now has the MG42 in place to prevent any more sneaky infantry rushes from occurring.
Exactly. Now, one thing I would like to see, actually we are seeing it right now, the stovepipe is going after the anti-air, but Ghost Dragon is already repositioning. Well done. Thank you.
Good for him.
Very good for him. Even better for him is the fact that the 81 mil stovepipe is not able to fire anything else other than just smoke for a time being. So,
yeah.
Disproving the whole idea that where there's smoke, there's fire. But we should be seeing a resupply very, very soon. Stu 42 in the meantime also going to start to engage a 25 mil on that road. So, there's a lot of equipment there.
Yeah, it's just a massive amount of high explosive firepower ready to roll out. And the problem right now for Ghost Dragon up north is he's running out a little bit. He does have anti-tank guns and a deep anti-tank tab to still take advantage of. But especially once we start using anti-tank guns, amount of stews can kind of just Death Star any position which they have fires upon him.
Now, we were talking a little while ago about the fact that the Stug 3 is probably one of the best tanks of the German side for the war anyway. The Stu 42, I think, is one of those guns that gets very much overshadowed as well. Yes, it was a howitzer. Yes, I get it. It's kind of the modern kind of approach to a lot of indirect firepower that we do see. But it had enough beefiness that could still stick on the front lines if it needed to. Which is not something
and you can use it as artillery.
Exactly. It's not something you can say about a lot of different kind of weapon systems. Down south, by the way, another kind of very strange push starting to happen. Did the Tiger go down? The Tiger has died.
Yeah. Probably the 75 mil.
Yeah.
He's in a very good position, yeah. We're seeing he's got like a decent amount of cover and fire. Also, I see the defenders down south have taken a bit of a beating, but I don't think Ghost Dragon's force here will be enough to really take his position right now. There's still just a lot of overlap and fire, and it's just way too slow for him to rush infantry across an open road.
True. True, and we're starting to see the Hussars over here in the center, north central position, pick up that town, and if they pick up that town, they should be able to knife out another solid chunk of territory, which allows the T-34s to be able to swing around. I don't know, there's a lot of potential, but at the same time, we're still not done yet. Not by any stretch of the imagination.
I think Farid is slowly trading out better, but also just having that central flag position is giving him, points on the board.
Yes, but he's got to watch out because if you go west just from that whole town position, there's still that moto you can see right there. We're back to a 12-12. P3 is going to force that moto down into cover, but getting covered is not the same thing as taking territory.
Yep.
And therein, as they would say, lies the rub. However, we are going to see more than a couple of these Purtata planes getting taken on down. JU-88, the second one I've seen for sure. So, at best, he has one more. At best. I don't think those have gone out just yet. Northern side, I feel like all this collected armor is just waiting for an opportunity to kind of go and unleash. Like you said, aggress, take out this giant kind of fortification anywhere you need to go, and just have that whole kind of Panzerkeil approach. Shell everything. Please.
It seems what he's trying to do is take the southern portion of the town first and he's not rushing in the tanks. He doesn't really know what is in the forest up north. So you just, slowly pick off, his infantry in the southern town, retake that flag, and then actually be interesting to see whether he decides to go up north to retake that hill, or if he just decides to go straight through the center.
Were it me, I would just go straight through the center. I see the northern tail. Yes, you can take some casualties just kind of looping it off, but you force the enemy to come to you. And if you check out a lot of the line of sight, there's that one AT gun. And there's, of course, that nice little rinky-dink kind of scout. But what else is there? Nothing else can see you. So why bother?
No,
there's nothing to attack it. Just you starve them. So
it also sucks as well for Farid up north is that the bridge is all around the northern side. If there's like a bridge, somewhere in between the other bridges, then you could, go across, and it's a much better angle of attack.
Well, we are seeing right now, Ghost Dragon surrenders because he realized there's nothing else he can do with that.
Yeah, he's just slowly getting traded out.
And, yep, there we go. Kind of the reverse of what we had seen over here on Tuesday, with the actual victor side causing more casualties, which is a very, very unique thing, you would think. But about the kind of 1,000 difference that you kind of expect.
No, 100%. Like, really, Farid just traded effectively. Also, pushing in the center was 100% the smart move, because he managed to keep... Just doing that, he kept the momentum in his advantage and kept forcing Ghost Dragon to react to his plays. Looking
at kills and losses, kills, not a whole lot to really write home about. Yes, a Tiger or two may have gone down. That one Pack 38, Agarichi, taking out a Stug and a T-34, but I guess I'll also call out the other 75mm OTN over here with a Tiger and a P3, but not a whole lot to really be too impressed by.
No.
Then again,
losses...
Same kind of issue over here at the losses, though, too.
Yeah.
A couple of tanks here or there, but nothing too crazy.
No. Now everyone kind of did their part.
Exactly. Any final thoughts there, sir?
No.
Well, folks, in that case, then, that's going to do it for us for this week in terms of monthly tournament coverage. Until next time, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Angry. Take it easy.